Hi everyone, my name is Ivy and my partner is Christy. This is our information literacy oral presentations. We are required to choose and analyze one building or architecture that has historical essence. The chosen buildings and architecture must be unique. So, the building that we have chosen is the Flatiron Building, or we call it as Fuller Building. It is famous because of its triangle shapes and it has attracted many tourists to visit over there. I will talk about the locations, the materials, the architect, and the style of these buildings. Flatiron Building is located at the Manhattan in New York. Its height is 87 meters and it has 22 stories. The material used on these buildings are steel and terracotta. I will talk about this material terracotta later on because it is quite famous materials in that period. And this building is completed at the year of 1902. The architect of this building is Daniel Hudson Burnham. He was an American architect and also an urban designer. He was born in Henderson in New York and raised in Chicago. He has designed several buildings including these Flatiron buildings of triangle shapes in New York City and also the one of the architect of the first American skyscrapers, the Masonite Temple buildings. So, this is the terracotta. Terracotta is a type of earthenware which is a clay-based unglazed or glazed ceramic where the fire's body is porous. Its use include vessels, notably flower pots, water and wastewater pipes, bricks, and surface embellishment in building constructions. The term is also used to refer to items made out of these materials and to its natural brownish-orange color and so on. The statues of Chinese warriors also use these materials. The Flatiron Buildings is the oldest surviving skyscraper in Manhattan. It initially was known as the Fuller Buildings and commissioned by the Fuller Construction Company because of its shapes sharply tapering northwards. The unique shape is formed by the convergence of 15th Avenue and Broadway. By the way, the designs of these buildings, the triangle shapes, is created because of its locations. The style of the Flatiron buildings is neoclassical structures in Beaux Arts styles, which referring to the École d'Art built the art in Paris incorporating Renaissance elements. The Flatiron buildings is follows the models of Renaissance plazons it because it has a balanced proportions. The Flatiron is reflecting an exuberant mix of Gothic and Renaissance motifs. The form and shapes of Flatiron buildings. The Flatiron buildings is divided into three parts, which is from the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's just like a classical Greek column. The Flatiron is in triangle shapes. The triangular shapes of the building gives it sense of drama and movement, just like the prow of a ship cutting purposefully through the water. This is the floor plan of Flatiron buildings, and the front of the building is like the prow of a ship cutting into the water.
Hi everyone, I am Fung Ho Yeng, and here is the front view of Flatiron Building. It looks like an isosceles triangular form with a beveled angle, which gives it the appearance of a giant column that's standing in the middle of Midtown Manhattan City. The Flatiron Building has a double personalities. As you can see that the view from side, it looks more like a residential building, while the view from front, it resembles a column. Here, we talk about the structure of Flatiron Building. It used 3,338 tons of structural steel in its construction. This is because the narrow and isolated site of the Flatiron Building, which necessitated a particularly strong reinforcement of the steel skeleton in order to withstand the high winds encountered at the specific location. The facade of Flatiron Building actually linked with terracotta and decorated on Renaissance manner. The Flatiron Building actually has large columns and ornate detailing in order to distinguish the top and bottom. This also creates the classical separation of base, middle, and top. Besides that, the very flat eight-story bay windows are a striking feature. This is a type more common in Chicago rather than in New York. The three-part facade are divided into an axial base, a central body that contains many stories, and also a crown composed of a penthouse with very high arches and cornice at the top. Here are the reference of information for our this project. It consists both information from books and website. Thank you very much for listening to our presentations. All of us will appreciate for your attention. Thank you.